Rock, paper, scissors. Wow, I can't believe she died. Oh,
I'm
sorry, she unalived.
I'm dead. Sorry, I'm back. Hello. Oh my
Wow, it's a miracle.
Yay!
Just like Steph and Anja's media review, it's
Yeah,
back
we
from the dead.
Oh my god, it really is.
Guys, it's been so long. We're so sorry.
Yeah, January's been hard, okay?
Yeah, far out on all fronts.
So
It's
many
been
fronts.
a very messy start to the year, but that's
Yeah.
okay because we're here,
Mm.
we're back,
Mhm.
we're reviewing media.
Yeah, we're
And
here. We're ready.
today we are reviewing Squid Game,
Ooh.
which not gonna lie, this was picked a couple of weeks ago when season 2 first came out. But you know what? It's still relevant.
Yeah,
It's still interesting.
it still is.
Um, yeah. Anyway,
Mm.
I'm actually struggling, not gonna lie, to remember the structure.
Okay, Steph, I can start. How do you feel
Perfect.
like what is your not how you feel like. Tell me what you know about Squid Game. How did you come to know it?
Okay, guys, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I did not watch Squid Game. I just it's a thing. This is some Steph law. Is I really struggle to get into a lot of TV shows because I always am like, it's the sunk cost like fallacy thing of like,
Mm.
do I want to sink time into this and then it ends and I hated it and I wasted my time. Um, that being said, I'm very familiar with Squid Game because I was very online when season 1 released. Like,
Mm.
I mean, obviously, like I know of the plot. I I know a lot of the visuals through memes, meme culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and even like season 2 having just been released, I've seen a lot of that online as well. Like I think it's actually held pretty strongly being like a second season
Mm.
that's kind of, I don't know, it's made its own way outside of just being like, oh, the next season of Squid Game is here. Which I found to be really interesting, actually, because I feel like a lot of other TV shows might just try and recreate, I guess, the highs of the first season, what
Yeah.
captured people, what captured audiences, and brought them in. So I think it's a really interesting show, and I think it's really interesting in terms of development. I mean, we can go into it a bit later, but yeah, I think like I probably should give it a watch, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I never got around to it
No,
in
that's fair.
2021 when it came out.
Oh, jeez, that's so long ago.
It was so long ago, guys.
Oh,
I'm getting old.
same.
Anyway, how about you, Anya? What's your kind of experience and kind of background with Squid Game?
All right. So I did watch it when it came out. It took me probably 2 months, like after it came out, to watch the first season. I got influenced to watch it. Everyone was talking about it, and I was like, I gotta see what everyone's talking about. So I watched it,
Yeah,
and I decided at the end of season 1 I would not watch season 2 because I was so angry at the show that I decided it's not for me for the second season. So I have not watched the second season, and it's purely for the fact that I don't like the main character.
fair enough. And
Mm.
you know what? That can really kill your love of any media, I
Mhm.
guess. If you don't
Yeah.
like the main character, what's the point?
Yeah. And I think this is a good segue to the plot where I can show my hatred
Yes.
for the main character. W-
Please, please. This is unbeknownst to me, so
So, yeah,
hate away.
basically, all these like poor people, like there's these people that come to these poor people or these disadvantaged people or whatever, people with doing crime. They convince them to come join Squid Game, which is like they play kids games and win money. They get like, yeah, drawn into it. Anyway, they all go to play Squid Game. like they all get like these tracksuits in this big building, and they start playing games. And like the first one's red light, green light, which you move when it's green light, red when you don't move when it's red. Anyways, and instead of just going out like you would in the game, you actually, you know, unalive.
Yeah.
And this becomes the thing for every game where you keep getting unalived. Now, I had a favorite character, and he died in like the third last episode, and after then I was checked
No.
out. And then I want to remind everyone who loves Squid Games that the main character, player 456, I think it is, he has a daughter. He goes to Squid Game. He wins Squid Game miraculously, right? He beats the odds, wins, gets his money, and decides to not go visit his daughter and go back into Squid Game. And I know I haven't seen the second season, but I have been told by people, and I'm raging a little bit, that apparently the daughter isn't even mentioned in the second season. And I think that
Oh
just
my
shows how bad of
god.
a father this main character is, and I'm just not about it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Not a deadbeat dad.
He literally is. Why do people like this guy? Because I don't.
Damn.
I don't like this guy.
I don't like him either. I don't even know him.
Well, you shouldn't like him either.
Fair, fair.
Yeah. But
Well, I
that's all
think
I
that
gotta
was
say.
I was gonna say, I think that's a fairly succinct kind of wrap up of the plot.
Thank you.
I actually
Everybody
just
dies.
wanted everybody dies and no one is happy.
Yeah, pretty much.
I wanted to quickly kind of chat through the, I guess, development of the show because I personally found that to be just as interesting as
Oh
some of the
yeah.
marketing tactics that we used. So the showrunner created the idea based on his lived experiences, as is often kind of the case with, I think, especially these kinds of shows. They always have something to say about the state of the world currently. So it's based on his own economic struggles, class disparity in South Korea, and capitalism, like as a whole.
Yeah.
He originally wrote the story back in 2009, and then basically like shopped it around to different production companies until Netflix picked it up around 2019, essentially because they were looking to diversify their own catalog. They wanted more foreign, quote unquote, programming offerings
Okay.
as part of, like what they serve out to people, which does kind of make sense if you think about, like, I guess the state of the world. I think, yeah, it's very Americanized, like Western type
Mm.
media that was being pushed out. So I can understand a streaming service, particularly one as big as Netflix, wanting to kind of expand that. And I also wanted to note that like this is kind of based on other medias that he would consume. So Wikipedia notes Japanese survival manga such as Battle Royale, Liar Game, and this one called Gambling Apocalypse,
Ooh.
which I found, I was like, oh, enticing. um, but basically, like as you kind of said, the plot of the show is how far would you go basically
Mm.
to get out of a situation like this? I think, even if you have a hatred for the main character, I think it's important to grapple with that idea. um
True.
but basically the main critique I found of the plot of the show by other production companies was that it was like a bit too bizarre and people wouldn't understand it, which I think is a really
Hmm.
interesting thing because it did release obviously in 2021 when a lot of people were in tough economic situations, COVID restrictions, lockdowns. I think even just like politically,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on in September of 2021.
Yeah.
And I also think that's probably why it took off as big as it did
Mm.
outside of, marketing and media. I think it resonated with a lot of people. So
True.
to me, I found that to be quite interesting
Hmm.
as well.
There you go.
Uh,
I do have some fun facts about um the production as well.
yeah.
So, did you know Squid Game was meant to be a movie when he first wrote it, like first scripted it? It was meant to be a movie and not a show, but through rewrites, realized it was better as a show.
Yeah. I was
Hmm.
gonna say that kinda doesn't surprise me. I feel like it makes sense for it to be like a long format
Yeah.
media.
So there you go. And the script was worked on for almost 12 years.
Yeah,
Yeah. But here's the fun one.
crazy.
The murder doll in Red Light, Green Light is a real doll.
Ew.
Yeah. Not cool. You can go what like look at it in real life.
Yeah, like, I won't be doing that, but you
You
could.
could. Yeah. And my last fact is that the show was originally called Round 6, but they later named it
Yeah,
Squid Game after the final episode where they play Squid Game.
makes sense,
Yeah.
right? Like, I feel like either title is very, like it's pretty vague,
Yeah.
but I think, like, Squid Game is a bit more mystery there.
Yeah. I like it better.
So,
So
yeah.
that's all my fun facts.
Yeah, I love it, I love it.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Shall we get into some
I
marketing?
think we should.
Cool. Do you wanna kick us off with some
Season
season
1.
1
All right.
content?
Season 1 was basically, interestingly, like nothing. America didn't receive any marketing, which means Australia didn't receive any marketing for this
Mhm.
show. Like, um, Korea, obviously, South Korea would have gotten marketing. But as for, yeah, America, Australia, all of these Western countries, no one got any marketing for it. It was literally the power of word of mouth, which is something I think we've talked about quite a bit in previous
Yes.
episodes on other media types. And this show is one great example of what word of mouth really can do because I had people talking about it to me in person about this show. I saw it all over social media. Like this show was just
Mm.
talked about everywhere. And so I don't know how to emphasize how word of mouth literally shot this show to number one on Netflix. Like
Yeah.
it was memes. There was posts about it everywhere. Like it went viral on TikTok. So yeah.
Yeah, like, it was almost entirely, like, organic media
Literally.
that
Literally
got it
organic.
to the point of being what, like, one of the highest rated
Yeah.
Netflix shows, like, that's it's mind-blowing, but again, like, I think also just, like, people being inside or
Yeah.
having a bit more time on their hands probably helped.
Yeah.
Um
Also what helped right shit up was
Mm,
that there was 37 different languages for the show, well, for subtitles, and
yeah,
dubbing in 34 languages. So
amazing.
literally everybody could watch this show. There,
Yes.
if you wanted to watch the show, there was a language you could watch this show in. Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah. Because I also remember, like, when it kind of came out and people were like, "Oh, like, why do you wanna watch something with, like, dubs or subtitles?" But
Mm,
I think accessibility in general, and I think we've also talked about this in, like,
yeah,
previous episodes as well, it can really make or break your release because if you only hit, like, one demographic, say, "Oh, it's entirely in English," and there's no real way for people who don't speak English as their first language,
mm,
for example, to engage with that media, you're losing out on a huge portion of potential audiences, potential fans, people to talk about it on a
exactly,
variety of social medias. So
exactly.
I think it's really like I think Squid Game is actually like such a good example of a show that has really embraced it being such an accessible media to consume.
Yeah.
Means that everyone gets to talk about it.
Mm. I've actually got a few little facts as well to do with the
Yes.
release. So, while not paying product placement, Vans recorded a 7,800% increase in sales in the 2 weeks following the show's release because all the players
Damn.
were wearing white Vans. And I just thought that was really interesting because, people are watching Squid Game and then they're like, oh, we want white Vans. Like, that's That's such an increase in
Yeah.
sales. And here's another one. Duolingo, our favorite little language app that apparently doesn't even teach a language correctly, recorded a 76% increase in new users in Great Britain looking to learn Korean, and it went up 40% with Americans. Like,
Damn.
this show didn't only like influence people to watch it, it influenced people to try learning Korean, you know,
Yeah.
buy shoes. Like, this
And
had,
I feel like as well, like Vans and Duolingo, like even back, in 2021, like Vans especially, like that is an established brand.
it's, yeah,
It's not like, oh, like this is a no-name brand that's like just up and coming and benefits from it. Like to get such a hefty increase on what is actually like a very normal pair of shoes.
yeah,
That's crazy to me. And I think like Duolingo, like that makes sense. And I think also ties in with like the question of accessibility and ability to watch and engage with
yeah.
foreign, quote unquote, foreign media.
Mm. But that's all I've got to say on season one. I don't really have anything else because I
Amazing.
literally didn't do much marketing and I couldn't really
Yeah,
find anything about it over in South Korea. So
that is a-okay because comparatively, they did a lot for season two.
there you go.
um, to give context as well, like obviously we're now in a very different kind of climate.
Mm,
People are back at work, back in the office. Streaming services are seeing a bit of a decline year on year in terms of usage. So I think Netflix almost had to try a bit harder. Also knowing that while season one was really popular, it also released 3 years ago. Um, in a very different time,
yeah.
really. So um to kind of build hype and remind people that stuff was coming, they did a lot of activations. And obviously it being a global release, a global phenomena, they did a lot across the world.
Mm,
So starting with kind of the Korean market in general, um, they actually partnered with Naver, which is one of South Korea's internet giants. Sorry, this is Netflix.
okay.
Um, which they did a huge activation, like a digital piece, um, that was like an ongoing partnership, um, where like members of this internet giant could have access to Netflix, um, for like a cheaper rate.
Mm,
So there's a bit of an incentive there to engage with that. Um, this article says Netflix's collaboration with Naver extends beyond subscription perks and by leveraging the ecosystem. So they have like a lot of different platforms, is my understanding.
okay.
Um, so there's kind of incentive to engage with this internet provider and Netflix, which I found to be quite interesting. I feel like it's a bit of a random one, but I think obviously if you have streaming, you need to have an internet connection. So I think that makes sense. Um, Across Paris, Seoul, and New York, they also did like experience-based campaigns as well. So in Paris, they had an installation set up there with residents, tourists, and influencers alike, kind of engaging with that. In Seoul, they showcased Squid Game through pop-up stores, installations, and collaborations with local brands. So really engaging with, I guess, the cultural identity of each location that they activated in. And then in New York, in Times Square, they did a massive interactive campaign with giant screens inviting people to play simplified versions of the games. So that was a 24/7 campaign, so always really, really always on.
Dang.
Um, and it's a city that never sleeps,
Yeah.
so it kind of makes sense. And then each of these cities were selected for a specific purpose as well. So Paris, you were kind of targeting cultural and prestige oriented audiences. Seoul, obviously, it's a South Korean show, so it kind of honors the series' origins.
Mm.
And New York focuses on the North American market, which is obviously like a massive audience pool just in general.
Yep.
Outside of that, they also did a ton of other brand collaborations. You know, they've done stuff with like Puma, so they had like the iconic tracksuits turned into real things that people can buy. Essentially, it's
Yeah.
which I'm like, I guess it's a bit of a weird thing. I think if you're like, oh, I want to be part of Squid Game so badly, I'm going to buy the tracksuit. There was also a Korean beauty giant called Olive Young, which they released Squid Game inspired cosmetics, including the red light, green light doll.
Oh no, not the
Or like,
doll.
yeah, I know. There's actually just like too much to name.
Yeah.
That's how like far out they've gone. They did a lot of like brand collaborations,
Right,
um,
damn.
just in general. And you know what? They've made it a real like fan event as well.
Okay.
The whole point is for people to engage with season 2, kind of bringing back how people felt about the first season and looking to kind of leverage that to get them to watch season 2. You know, oh, sorry, I've just seen, I had this written down, but I just realized it. Apparently, Sydney's Luna Park had a little fan event too,
Oh no.
which is called like Squid Game: The Experience, where fans could test their nerves with games like Red Light, Green Light, and fully immerse themselves in the show's intense atmosphere.
Mm.
I was like, God damn, okay. But I think also like this article kind of puts forward that outside of leveraging like a lot of like fan culture and brand collaboration, it also looks at like, I guess, pop culture and even like fashion culture and what are people engaging with, because it's a lot of Y2K and adjacent kind of stylized culture
Yeah.
almost that is like what they're kind of appealing to. Like to me, having like Squid Game like makeup, that just feels a bit weird, not gonna lie. But if it gets someone to engage with season 2, then I don't see the harm. To me, it just feels a bit like when they released like Hunger Games makeup, and I was like, I
Yeah.
feel like you've missed the point of this. But
Probably.
I digress. Very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's about it. Like, you know, there was obviously also like offline and digital media activations,
Mm.
out of home. I saw all those like TikTok ads of
There you
like the
go.
Smiths Chips collaboration, which is also a very random one.
Yeah.
Um, but I think overall it's more just like making sure that they're really in market, and really driving awareness and consideration to ultimately deliver intent to watch the show.
Mm. Exactly. There you
But
go.
yeah, that's it from a marketing standpoint for
Mm.
season 2.
So, Steph, do we have anything for our favorite segment?
Guys, I'm so sorry. Um, I was not familiar enough with the characters to pick a fanfic,
Fair.
not gonna lie. And Letterboxd does not cover TV shows.
Aww.
Sadly, they only do movies.
That's
But I
all
think
right.
they're about to release uh TV shows.
Mm.
Maybe we could just have a casual chat. What have you been up to?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say I can make up a fan fiction real hot
Oh
quick.
yes, yes.
So my favorite character, let me just look up his name really quick. Ali Abdul. the best
Okay.
character. He lives and player 456 dies. The end.
Stunning. Stunning.
That's all I
Player
ask.
456 dies in a minute in of episode 1.
Yeah.
Done.
He moves in red light, green light when it is red light.
Yeah, that's true.
That is my fan
He gets
fiction.
and he gets shot.
Yeah, you know what? It's not like he cared about his daughter anyways.
Damn. I wanna
Yeah.
know about this daughter. You've got me curious now.
We don't know anything. All we know
We
is
don't
that he has
know.
a daughter and that he doesn't
Damn.
that
He doesn't love her.
no, he clearly doesn't. Jeez.
Obviously not.
Cares more about money than he does his daughter.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm salty.
Look,
Not gonna lie.
I can't speak on this show. I have not seen it, but to play devil's advocate, it sounds like a pretty shoddy economic situation. I cannot entirely blame him
But
for wanting to win money, but
he did
once
already
you've
win money
won,
and then he chose to go back in.
yeah, I can't forgive that.
But
Season 1, I'm giving him benefit of the doubt.
Mm,
End of
mm,
season 1, season 2. Is he that bad of a character?
I just really don't like
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Look.
I've not watched the show. I cannot tell you.
Yeah, I'm scared it may be a little a Meryl Streep redo, but
Damn. Okay. Do people feel strongly about this character? Let
probably
us know in the
not. It's
comments.
probably just me.
Everyone else is probably like, yeah, he's the main character. He's whatever. And you're like, I hate this man.
Sounds like me. I guess, guys, give me your opinions on the main character.
Yeah, let us know.
Does
Let us
anyone
know
else agree?
if Anya's an outlier here.
I probably
One day
am.
we're gonna record something where I'm like, I'm a hater. I hate this character. And you're gonna be like, everyone else loves this character.
I'm sure that day will come on, and I'm excited
One
for
day,
it.
one
I'm
day.
excited for it.
I'm a secret hater.
I'm just an out there hater, I'm not gonna lie.
Fair, fair.
Alright, Steph, final thoughts?
Um, Look, having not seen the show, I found the premise at least to be quite interesting, and I found the media marketing and even just like the overall development process of the show to be quite interesting. I am endlessly fascinated by I guess like how showrunners kind of input like parts of themselves into the shows that they make. So I found that to be quite interesting.
Mm.
How about yourself?
I like the idea of the show. I don't need to repeat myself on the characters on the of the show. In terms of the marketing, I thought, it was really impressive, like, how popular it got in season 1. And it makes sense
Mm-mm.
why they've put so much into the marketing of season 2, but season 1 blows me away in terms of the marketing. It's just,
Because there was none.
there was none, especially like in America, there was none, which means Australia got none, and it still became the most popular show in both countries,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
Crazy.
Insane.
Yeah.
But
Truly.
yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you all liked this episode. If you did, if you could leave a comment, subscribe, that'd be great. Would love your support. We have an Instagram and a TikTok with some funny videos on there. Steph and Anja's movie review, all one word. And
They're pretty old, not gonna lie. We need
look,
to make more content one day.
we
We'll get
do.
there.
It's just time. We already
Yeah.
struggled to record this podcast, and it's the end
Literally.
of January, and we're gonna release this at the start of Feb. So
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
be better moving forward. I promise.
hopefully we'll try. But I think that's it.
And if nothing else, green light.
Why are we paused?